music. A lot of load. Alright, here we go. Come on. Let's see, I'll disable it anyways. Come on. Finally. Not gonna take forever to load the page. Stop initializing the world and come back to life, please. clean. Finally! Oh, I'm in the right area. That took forever. Just turn this down a little bit more. If you guys, the two people who watch my interaction videos would know, this is the farm that the resistance stays at. And when I first found this place, I was searching around, I thought it was perfect because it has this little eating area. It has a bunch of beds. You just have the farmhouse at this place. Got tents. Got animals in. And I'm also I'm trying to get like some kind of wall to go between here so we can at least keep 3 houses. I haven't decided what I'm going to do over here yet. I don't know if I should make them have a wall to prevent anything from coming over here. Or nothing or something like that. And through many of downloads, I have a bunch of stuff to make these guys look good. It doesn't look that bad. I should probably do it myself because it just hangs off the side of the thing. So I really like putting a lot of bed because they can have a lot of survivors here. I should really get rid of the SFN models because they make them all floppy, which I mean like is good, but like if you were to try and put up a dead body onto these sandbags, you know, that thing kind of makes them like they have little bones. These models aren't as floppy as they used to be floppy. It's just kind of funny. He's got the flip bar, I believe. His body. These are filters. So what I have in mind, like with what we're doing here, I was thinking we'd have a bunch of crash cars right here, and then have some handmade fences going on across here. Actually, you know what? I have a save that, believe it or not, made me crash because I had too many ragdolls. It is. Oh. There's a problem. Oh, these peoples are. Scouty's doing some stretching. Oh man, I have no idea what you're doing. Now, the hardest part about doing this is that since this is such a big area, it means there's going to be a lot of people here. And a lot of people means a lot of lag. A lot of people getting on ragdolls. A lot of ragdolls, a lot of lag. And since I have to do with this house, the farmhouse, the barn, the shed for prisoners, 3 other houses to store people, which, by the way, are all like. Like in here, it's supposed to be where they have maps and stuff. And at least they have bathrooms. This cool place where they can order food. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want? Who wouldn't want some nice sliders or some onion and chicken nuggets, chili? I mean, come on, they got a hot pie. Got all these chairs to feed everyone. I should also point out that the Resistance does a lot of scavenging, so they're going to have some pretty high-tech weapons. They're just not high-tech in literally everything else. I'm trying to think of who is superior enough to go live inside the house and not sleep in one of these beds. I'm thinking the Resistance leader and have the battle medics care for the wounded. They have always bed. And you know, since they can't really carry with there's two. And we can have the medic room up in here. I guess this will be like some kind of place where people can chill. Go ahead and do that. Get this train up here. Let's keep one over here. I don't even have stairs that go up here. Are people supposed to get on the train from down here? They'd be like, oh, the train's here. Yeah. Ah, time to sit down. Why isn't the train moving? Oh yeah, there's no robot. An alien apocalypse. Lot of. Who it is, but it came from either way. I should probably remove all these. So the reason it's like these kind of weapons is because, as you can see, military material somewhere. I wouldn't really call them military. I mean, the only as the three people know it was just a bunch of robots built by the masters. They defended. I don't even know if I should add a military, because the point of the masters is that they're the military. They're basically the ones who try to save. Well, I ain't gonna reveal any plan. I ain't gonna reveal any spoilers. You see, I was planning to kind of turn this world into, you know, I was thinking of a gaming version of this, Great Robot Wars, of, Dallas, Texas. And it was going to include characters. It's going to be like a Fallout Vegas and Fallout 4 mix. Except, you know, it doesn't have the building settings part to it. And, you know, you'd have player interactions, player customization, all that crap. You'd have different factions you could join. As I explained in a video that I didn't post actually because my audio was terrible. There are 4 different factions you could join. There was the Resistance, which you were able to join early on. Because you guys remember my interaction video, the demo man told you, player, to go to this place and talk, which you can either say yes or no. If you say no, you won't get as much respect from those guys. And after, like, if you were to leave them for, like, let's say a few days, they will eventually end up coming here. And when you find this place finally, you will see your team here basically ignoring you, so you didn't help them. And you still have the option to join the resistance, but you won't receive quests from these guys anymore. And there's not like a lot of quests. You just have like the first 3, which is getting weaponry, getting food, and talking to the resistance. But then you also have, you know, like little side quests, like you can talk to like the survivor medic in your little group and get some medical supplies, or ask, he'll say, you know, something like, hey, can you, while you're out there in the world, could you find a few medkits for me or something like that? Next section you have the Masters Collection. Now, not many people know, the people who watch my videos, you have multiple different masters. You have Master Spy, Engineer, and Medic. You can join any of them and unlock vendors, but only for that specific one you join. So you can join Master Engineer, unlock some vendors from his faction, but if you were to go over to Spy and Medic space, you have no access to vendors and not as many quests, because you're mainly working with that master. You have the blue assassin, who I get to decide if he should have a voice or you know, where his location is going to be in this map. You know, there's this underground area. Yeah, pretty creepy and not that big. And then you have the war dogs, which are only accessible by like if you have when you start the game, you wake up and get the ability to create your character, being, you know, any of these guys, red or blue, besides Pyro. Like, you can't be a Pyro in this day and age. Okay, I'll have to explain it later, but see, if you are on blue, war dogs are going to be harder to defeat, because in this universe, the war dogs, well, let me explain something real quick. The war dogs are just literally any class who wear the war pig, but I call them war dogs. So like you just have this medic variant, and you know they're found inside this blue one. Now, if you are in blue, they will not accept you and immediately attack you if they see you. If you are red, though, they will not attack you, but you have to stay out of the way, because they won't really be nice to you unless you talk with the leader in, I think, this building. Yeah, up on this level. You can talk with them right here, and you get the option to join the War Dogs. Now, the War Dogs will prevent you from any survivor interactions and prevent you from talking with your team. You'll basically abandon them. It's taking a more villainous route, except they don't really have an ending. You know, you have the robotics ending, resistance ending, assassin ending, but you do not have a war dog ending. Technically not, because what you're trying to do is to eliminate any blues, imprison any survivors, and make them slaves, as in, like back in, I think, either Fallout 4 or 3 or Vegas, and basically create a new government. And that's what you're basically trying to do with any of these factions, create a new world. Because Assassin Spy, you're trying to get rid of the robotics faction. That's it. The Blue Assassins do not have any intentions to kill the Resistance. They only kill the Resistance if they get in their way. Let's see that. The Blue Assassins, okay, I'm gonna say this. Anytime you get into a fight, you get into this, sort of, if you guys ever watched SD, Black SD, well, he has these fight scenes, which are kind of cool, and which, it'll be based off that. You'll have an overview head, something like this. You have your people, the enemy. You get to choose your attack, and the more support you gain, if you're on the Resistance, you get 2 Resistance fighters. Now the Resistance fighters are they're expendable but not as good because they're not strong. Most of the time you'll find them with melee weapons, but there's a small chance you can find them with a rifle. But if you do get the Resistance on your side and they become fighters for you, you will gain, respect, I guess. They'll like you more because you defeated the enemies. War Dogs, they're the strongest, though they're not expendable. You have a limit of 5 War Dogs you can use in your fight. So let's say you have you and 2 other War Dogs. So one of those War Dogs die and get replaced. But if you go through 5 War Dogs, they will retreat and not help you anymore. You also have the Blue Assassins, which are the best at killing. Because they carry katanas around, and they're just like the robotics faction, except they don't have guns, and they're not soldier bots. And then you have the Texan characters. You can get Sanovich and Sir Stabs if you find them and convince them to join you on your journey. They will come and help you through the fight. Now I have to say the strongest person to convince to join you has to be Mr. Mafia. Since he is still running his mafia business, selling drugs, doing all kinds of crap in the city with anybody who's willing to buy. But you have to convince him by doing deeds for him and, selling him the whiskey. And he's the hardest to get, but he's kind of strong because he has the option to summon in 2 of his mafiosos or some blue mercs. And they come equipped with M16, which makes them, reliable. But Mr. Mafia only carries a Luger around with him, so he's not the strongest, but he's good at supporting. Potato Power is probably one of the, you'll find him midway. He's not the strongest, but he's a support character. He's supposed to help buff your team with his potatoes. And now you have me, your the Texan, as a character you can find. And I'll probably be one of the first you come across, which means I will carry my gun around with me. I will have certain attacks that other of the Texan characters will not have. I'm a specialty character. Let's just say I'm a DLC character. Instead of just an NPC you'll find wandering the streets. Now, these are probably some major spoilers, so try and not listen, but if you want to, you can. Since Mr. Greyhead will not be in the series, though, he will be considered dead. But if you choose the resistance side and meet up with me to go talk with the masters, either one, he will become the reason this all stops. You will need him to stop the apocalypse. Which means you get two options. You can either try and get Mr. Greyhead back, or you can just give up. And giving up just lets the world become a open world, run around shooting pyro aliens, all that. But choosing to revive him will allow you to go on this big search for all types, parts, organs, to rebuild Mr. Greyhead as half human, half robot. Because, I don't want to say it, but he will end the apocalypse. And after that is done, the game will end, but it will allow for an open world, only to have, you can't fight the robots anymore, but you are allowed to fight pyro aliens and war dogs. So, yeah. Mr. Medicman is also support, so I'm going to have a few good support classes. So when you're using Sandwich is heavy. Sandwich, I don't know. Sandwich has this, Sandwich in front of him. It's that cosmetic heavy has it. Puts a strand around his head and has a sandwich hanging from it. This one, which actually, let's say we're fighting some pyro aliens. The pyro alien has the chance to run up, eat that sandwich, and enrage Sandwich. Enragement will work as your defense goes down, but you become really strong and focused on that one person who enraged you. So let's say Sir Stabs, he has the enrage ability, which means he will do that spy taunt and swinging his knife around, except he'll end up being the middle finger in the end, which enrages literally any of them. Not so, it has a lower chance of working on robots, but it has a chance of enraging them, which decreases the, as I said before, decreases the defense and increases strength. Now, Sir Snipes, the red sniper of my world, he is offensive. He will be he'll be behind y'all, and he has shooting tactics with his sniper rifle, but they're really strong, so he is very, very weak. He can die to the pyro alien with just one hit. Because how pyro aliens are, their head is split in half with teeth. So he'll die to that. Now, you should know, if you're in a fight and someone dies but you still win the fight, that person is not dead, they're just knocked out. I'm not going to count them as being dead, which ruins all your progress and help you in any new fight the final boss for any good actions. Dispenser Man. I'm gonna make him a DLC character. Because, he'll be mentioned, if you were gonna have him direct with me, back in the old days when me, Dispenser Man, and all of the others, we'll give a mention, but you'll never find him in game. But if you get that DLC, then he will become a character you can get who will also support. He will have dispenser. He will build a dispenser healing you and any other buddy you're fighting with every 2 rounds. which is very reliable, and he has a pretty strong shotgun. He uses, I think he uses the panic attack. And he will be considered a resistance member, which means you'll see him wandering around the resistance base and, usually hanging out by the battle medics. Now, when it comes to the resistance, as they're fighting, after you gain enough respect, you will have the ability to bring a battle medic with you. The battle medics are regular medics if they don't have mediguns, because the world's crashed, there's not much technology left. And they will heal you every 3 rounds, while also having a pistol by their side to help you, which isn't very strong. You can find a battle medic pistol. It's decently rare because, you'll find a bunch of dead resistance members, but they will hardly have weapons on them because, killed by warthog or anything, and they have to weapons taken. But a battle medic pistol is pretty rare, but it's not strong. So you either can collect these weapons or just use it. Now, the most rare weapon in the game is my shotgun. Because, I use the Widowmaker, and you can never find one of these throughout the entire game. And the only way to obtain it is to kill it. If you get in contact with me, you have the option to kill me. Get the Widowmaker, which, I guess you can do that if you'd like. Like I said, I'm going to be considered one of the strongest supporting characters, and killing me will cut off half of the story, and you won't know how to do certain things. Like, if you, let's say you just figured out where Master Spy fits, you can't get into certain, special rooms, because you'll have somewhere around some time, you go inside the room and you'll search around and you'll find a hackable door that's got an icon in front of it, and I can get in there and get you some pretty good freaking loot. And during fights, I have some big damage, and with my mini sentry power up, I can make quick do the things. You can kill me. You have the option to kill me and take my weapon. No counter's going to do that by someone who joined the Wardogs. Because if you do join the Wardogs, you get a certain task to kill these people. You will get a task to kill Mr. Rocket. You get a task to kill Potato Power. How many are... I haven't used him much ever since Chrono Charger left YouTube and TF2. Either way. So, actually, you know what? I am going to create a video of an engineer who's going to replace Chrome here, which will be coming soon. The Wardogs, let's see, they do not have any vendors. The only way you can get a vendor with the Wardogs is if you're going to find a wandering pyro trader. Or a wandering trader. So yeah, there will be this pyro, basically just Really? Can I just download it? Oh, there it is. Here's photo. Here it is. That's internet. I'll just get to know. So yeah, you'll find this kind of pyro, or this kind of trader out in the world, and they will be the only person you can trade with. And they'll just have random junk because they are wandering traders, basically. And you actually have the option to not join any factions and just go a freeway and somehow find me, because I will still be walking around in the street, and if you do find me, we can have a short interaction. But I'm still trying to think of a way you, the player, can help me without joining any factions, so you don't have to deal with any extra quests. There is also this side quest with the Devilman, the suited Devilman of your little group. He's basically the leader. Like, I was going to point out in the video, I can't tell. He eventually turns evil. I know this is a spoiler, but he eventually turns evil if you continue to help him. Because after you guys meet the resistance, you'll have the option to get more quests from him. And all these quests will start to seem suspicious after he makes you get certain items. And he'll ask you eventually, do you trust me? And he will reveal what he's been doing. You have the option to rat him out, get him kicked out of the resistance, which he'll eventually come back, or you can join him. And I've decided if I make him kill off the resistance, he'll have nothing and eventually die by his own. Or I can make him kind of try and become a new leader of the resistance. You know, that's good. New leader of the resistance. Benjamin is these people, you know, they're scared from the fire and they get down to this roof. Where are they going to go next? To a window? Yes. Your little group will consist of one engineer, one medic, one heavy, one soldier, one doorman, and whatever class you choose. Besides pyromaners. What was I saying? Oh, right. Certain classes will have certain chat options. Like if you were to be a heavy and talk with another heavy, you'll get certain interactions. You know, a heavy talking to another heavy would have. They would talk about the homeland, I don't know. Soldiers would talk about patriotic things. Scouts would talk about mispawning, I don't know. And you being a player, you only have a mother yeah, you only have a mother, and don't worry, she is eventually found by you, which is good. Or, yeah, you find her eventually, take her to, if you are the resistance, she'll agree to go with you. If you aren't part of the lobby, she might, depending on what level of charisma you chose. What of she will immediately say no, or give you a disappointed look, and just tell you to walk away. And the assassin spy, she'll just look confused and say no. And she'll stay where she is. Your father he didn't survive, so that's what they do. Your father didn't survive, so your fatherless child. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to chat or put it in the chat. I will answer that question with the best I can, if I've thought that one to the game. Now, you probably tell this isn't going to come anytime soon because I am just a child. I am no control or no idea how to program it. But I kind of want to make it, like Red Dead or Fallout. I want Fallout, except what I mean with this. The things I want to make clear: there is the gray team, which you can choose, which makes everyone neutral to you. They will have no opinions. They will have no, remarks to you. They will just say normal things. They won't say, "Hey, thanks for being on the blue team," or something like that. War dogs won't act any different. So you won't be able to join them. The gray team is considered civilians, full-on civilians, because you have the red and blue team, which can be civilians, but they're still hired by Red Law and Blue Potion. So they're retired mercenaries, which means they are not civilians. Which makes up most of the population, which is red and blue. It makes up like 10% of the population. I mean, the rest of the population will be gray team, and they will be wearing civilian clothes. A suited soldier or something like that. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions, because I'm in the stream soon. There's nothing to find here. I'm guessing the questions. There it is. There's a fancy spot already. S. I agree. Yes. Powerful number. Did I just say number? I meant letter. Why did I say number? I'm an idiot. What was flaming? Text message from somebody. I'm thinking H. Okay. So the place I was talking about that will have the doors fastened for the winter period. And that's in the butcher stories. Shut up, Mr. Playmaker Fitness. Here it is. So you'd be searching these cabins and come across this door. I'll put the screen on the front here, guys.